Okay, so we've got our blank project now, so we're going to look at just setting up multi-timbral sampler instruments for use for this track that we're going to do. We're going to start with the player libraries first and just take a look how to go about loading in all the articulations that we might need. If you're not in Cubase, one way to do this would be to have articulations based on different channels. So we can load something up here. And then create extra MIDI channels. You could have a separate instrument for each articulation as well, but it's pointless using up resources with more engines than you need to. So you can just load in a bunch of MIDI files or MIDI tracks that you can then assign to different channels for different articulations. But in Cubase, we're not going to do this. We're going to use Keyswitches to select our articulations for us, so we're not going to need these extra MIDI channels. So first things first, let's go and take a look at our instruments. We want to go to the browser. These are all the ones I have currently installed. And we're going to take a look at the strings first. So let's go, we're going to go to the Template Pro. You can see you have cellos and stuff in here. These are all a lot more than what you'd normally use as far as articulations are concerned. I mean, you can see there's tons and tons and tons of stuff in here. They have it quite neatly organized into a sort of more basic version with this Template Pro setup here. So we can go to Template Pro. Let's do the cellos. And you'll see we have a number of cello patches here for us to use. So we're going to start off with the basic Arco, the standard preset. We're going to load that in. And these can take a while, especially the legato patches, to load properly. So there we have it loaded into memory. Cool, so you can see where the mapping is occurring for this instrument. Now we're going to need more articulations than this running off this channel. So we're going to go look at the other ones. We're going to want a legato as well. In this case, we're going to click Add down at the bottom here because I want to load multi-channels of these. So we can go Add. And we'll skip through the loading process quickly. Right, so we have our legatos loaded. We'll do some pizzicato strings. Once again, Add. And let's go for the shorts. These ones, the speed of the shorts is used with a mod wheel. And then let's just, for the sake of this demo, load in the tremolo as well. Great, so we have our different articulations. They're all loaded in there. What we're going to do now is actually, just for the sake of demonstration as well, let's just have a look at the effects section here, or take a look at one that has built-in key switches. Let's just load this one in as well. Right, so this last patch that we've loaded in, you can see these little blue keys down at the bottom. These are key switches, which will, when activated, change the articulations. So these are fine in some patches. This one is a fairly simplified version now. These will also stay in articulations. But in order to get the full spectrum of these, you want to be loading these on different channels in this case. So we're not going to be using key switch triggers like this. We're going to use Cubase's integrated articulation management to select multiple channels for the track that we're playing on. So we're going to do that now. Let's just, we can remove this one. We're going to assign channels to each of these articulations. 5 in total. And these will all be playing through the main out. That's fine. All right, so let's go take a look at our MIDI now. I'm going to put in a section of MIDI in here. And let's take a look at the inspector on the side here. We're going to just go to the inspector setup. And we are looking for expression maps. So Cubase expression maps allow us to assign articulations to a controller lane inside of the MIDI section. So you'll see we have nothing there at the moment. And so we'll leave that open, and let's just open up that. And if you hold down Shift and Alt, my apologies, Command, you can have these open at the same time. So let's expression map setup. That's going to load up this page for us here, and we're going to create a fresh expression map for this demonstration. So let's add a new expression map on the side here. We can label this East, West, Symphonic, Cello, whatever you want. And you'd want to save that. Okay, so we've got 5 different articulations we want to set up so we can create 5 slots for our articulations. We are going to just open up this so that we can see what we have loaded. So number 1 is our arco, or the standard, whatever you want to call it. These are our legatos, our pizzicatos, shorts, and tremolos. We're not going to bother with the remotes for now because, like I said, we're not going to be using the key switches on the actual keyboard. We're going to be using them inside the expression maps instead to select them. So articulation 1, they do have a selection of standard ones already in here. In some cases, those will be fine. You can also add custom ones. So let's just we'll go grab arco for now. Legato will be under lengths. We'll grab legato. Technique, I believe, and also lengths. So trying to find, I'm pretty sure there should be a pizzicato. There we go. Techniques again. Marcato for those. Or we can actually, let's, for this one, add a custom articulation. Down at the bottom, you can choose your symbol or the text. Let's type in shorts in this case. And the last one, tremolo, there. So for each of these articulations, we're going to have to set up a channel now. So arco will be channel 1. This will be channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and channel 5. So hopefully if we've done this all correctly now, this should be working perfectly. Let's just save this again. Replace that. And we can close this. So now under the expression maps tab here, go and select the expression map that you've just set up. And that'll be applied to this MIDI channel. And you can see that little expression map lane is popped up in the MIDI at the bottom now. Where you can go and drag this up. And let's just record, let's record a bit of MIDI so that we can kind of see what's going on here. Okay. Okay, and we'll just quantize this. And duplicate these. And you can see now if we grab our pencil tool in the bottom here, you can actually hold down Alt. You can select the Arco key switch for this section. If we want to change to pizzicatos, we can over there. And then maybe on these notes, we want to go legato. And lastly, let's do a tremolo section. For these notes. Well, it's just doing for that one. Okay, these ones are actually set up as a different type of articulation. We can actually go and edit that. If we want these to follow through the whole section, we'd have to set that up as a custom articulation. So we can go and edit that quickly. Let's go to our expression maps again. Expression map setup. Let's change this one from an attribute. We'll change this to direction. And now when we go back, we should be able to select tremolo for the entire section there. So let's just take a listen to what that's done. Pizzicato coming up. Legato. And tremolo. So there you have it. That's the cool thing about Cubase, these expression maps, that you can just dial in which kind of articulation you want to be playing just by clicking in these sections down here. You also have a dynamic section as well, which you can set up. For the most part, I don't bother with that too much because most of my expression is done with the mod wheel, which is really important when it comes to programming these strings as well. So our mod wheel would be modulation down at the bottom here. And you can see that moving up and down. I'm not hitting record yet. Now also the modulation that we just recorded there, you can see for our expression there. I'm just going to show you a quick way to kind of get that out of this MIDI here because I don't like editing it in here. So there's a Cubase function that you can just right click on your part. If you go to functions, you can select, if you want to, you can thin the MIDI data out actually, which is handy sometimes. And then functions, you can just extract MIDI automation. Now when you click down, you'll have your MIDI channel CC available for you here. So if you so wish to, you can do the dynamics automation manually. And I often do just kind of start with recording them and then kind of redo parts of it as I see fit later on. Okay, so there you have it. That's pretty much how the expression maps work. Now, as I said before, once you have these set up because also different libraries work differently, so you kind of have to use your intuition to kind of set these up. This is how the play ones work best. You'll have to kind of check out how different instruments are set up to figure out what works best for you. We'll take a look at the Kontakt ones quickly as well. It's pretty much the same process that's involved. We'll load up a Kontakt instrument quickly. All right, here we go. We got our Kontakt string ensemble loaded up. Just take a listen to this. Here we go. So we're taking a look at the cellos again as well. You can see in this case, this patch has got its key switches already put in here. So they're not quite as plentiful as the EastWest Symphonic Gold, but there's enough here to get by. But in this case, the articulations are not separate patches. They're all included in the same thing. So when we set up our expression maps for this one, we're going to be using triggers. You don't need to do the expression maps. You can actually just go and put a MIDI note on C0, for example, which would trigger that specific legato articulation. But it is nice to have them all set up so that you can see what's going on. It's just a lot easier once you've got those expression maps done. So we're going to go and do those quickly. So you've got a number of different articulations. We're going to go in again to our expression maps, our expression map setup. You can go and add a new one. Let's say Kontakt. Symphony Series Celli. And you have a number of 8 different articulations. We won't do all of them. We'll just do a few, the first few. So we can see here the first one is our legato patch. We'll name that legato. Second one is Sordino. We'll just do custom articulations for these. Tremolo. That should be enough. So let's just, you're going to have to put in the articulations once again. In this case, we're just going to use custom ones for all of them. Text. Legato. So that direction again. Text. Legato. This one, again, custom. Sordino. And let's do another custom one. Tremolo. So we've got our articulation set up. Now, this one we're not switching channels. So technically speaking, we could use the channels as well. If we were to do a multi-channel setup, we could actually load our, let's say, for example, load our violas into the same instance of Kontakt. So you see you have these down here. You could actually add another MIDI channel below and have this running the MIDI for the violas by setting that to channel 2. And you'll see you have channel 2. So you can actually run the entire ensemble just from one instance of Kontakt if you want to. And then also have some of these articulations. You could have 16 of these articulations here, where 8 of them might be applying to channel 2 and some of them to channel 1. But in this case, we're just going to do the ones for channel 1. So we don't need to actually worry about that channel information there for now. We can actually remove that. What we are going to do is add a data entry for each of these. So legato is going to be triggered from C0. The Sordino is going to be triggered from C sharp 0. The tremolo is going to be triggered from D0. And you can add these remotes in here as well. Just to do these, it shows up on the inspector as well, so it's just nice to be able to see. And while you're setting these up, you might as well just set everything up properly, and then when it's done, it's done. You don't have to do this again. I realize it is quite time consuming, but it is just good to have this all out of the way. So we've got our triggers set up. We can save this. And let's go select our, let's remove this channel again. Select our expression map. We've got our Kontakt SS Celli. You can see we've got our expression maps have popped up here again. Let's just play 3 notes like that. We've got our legato. Sordino, which will be a quieter note, and our tremolo. So there you have it. So our key switches are working. We have everything in there so we can see what's going on. And yeah, all working like a charm. So that's, it really takes, it's really worthwhile spending the time to just get these things set up correctly. If you are in Cubase, obviously, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think Logic has this functionality at all. Definitely not in Ableton. But like I said, you can set these up, different articulations on different channels as well, different MIDI channels. That'll also help. Or in this case, where you have them already mapped, that you can just use MIDI to trigger those. It's just is nice when you're having quite complex scores to be able to have a visual representation here. And also here as well, you have your triggers. So you can actually see, even when your MIDI is closed, you can see which articulation is currently playing as well, just by looking here, which is really handy to have as well. Great, so we're gonna wrap this up there and put aside the orchestral elements for a little bit, and then move on to the start of this track. Initially, we're gonna just try and lay down some sound design work and get a bit of a mood going, and then when we get to some melodic aspects of the track, we can start bringing in these cellos and look at some of the brass and other elements like percussion, etc. Cool, so I'll catch you in the next video where we'll start fresh and start working on this track. Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.